Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're either catching me on my YouTube channel True Divine 44 or my Facebook page True Divine 44. Like, share, subscribes and comments on either or both of those platforms is greatly appreciated, and much love to everybody who's doing that for me thus far. I really do appreciate you and love you all. I'm putting out as much free content as I can, mainly via tarot, to help show what I do, but also support, guide and inspire the collective. It's what I love doing. So I mainly do that through monthly tarot readings for each sign, and as many as I can daily energy readings just for the collective. Now, I did have technical issues with the phone deciding to jump from a great height, so I've had to fix that, so I have been away for a couple of days, and I have got the disclaimer of not sleeping, so if I'm a little bit sleepy, just forgive that and take it for what it is. So, but I didn't want to miss another day. I didn't want to go 3 days without putting anything out. So this is an invitation for the energies of the day for the 26th of the 4th, 2020. So today is, we've all been on this collective roller coaster, haven't we? Because we've all been bottlenecked into this collective thing that shall not be named, and it's thrown up certain energies that we're all feeling at the same time, or just a few different energies that we're feeling at slightly different times, but very similar energy imprints. So the energy readings for the days have been very focused, and seemingly from the feedback I'm getting, very they resonate a lot with people, because we are all on this same journey. We're all on the same train right now. So where the last couple of days where I haven't been able to get readings out, the last couple of days have been very heavy with frustration, a little bit of anger starting to stir up, people getting fed up with the situation as is. Today calls for a different kind of energy, which might come as a little bit of a conflict, a little bit of a shock to you, because you want to be frustrated, you want to be angry, but the niggle today with this Four of Cups is to ask you to go within. And I know it's the last thing a lot of you feel like doing right now. A lot of you are feeling like getting active right now. A lot of you are feeling like going out there and doing something physical right now to change the way we're having to live at the moment. But there's this calling to go within today and transmute those energies and just take time out for self. It's to submit. It's a submissive day. Submit to the energies. Now, that might seem really counterproductive. That might seem really not what needs to be happening right now. But actually, it's the very thing that needs to be happening right now. Because many of us have been so detached from self for such a long time. It is one of the reasons that we're all in this collective position as we are today now. Because when we have been more and more, as generation and generation has gone on, more and more detached from self, more and more detached from knowing our true spirituality, our true expansive power that we have within, the easier the narrative that we're dealing with today has had it. It's been very easy to hook into those who don't know thyself, who live in ego, live in fear, don't know how to transmute energies that are thrown their way. They are reactionary because they don't know that they can move that energy right on through them and give it to the Great Mother and receive energy back, energy that is good, energy that is whole and that can fuel you on your way. So there's this real calling to be that submissive energy today and just allow the energies of the day to wash over you, to go within. And I don't say that everybody has to meditate, with the hum and the fingers. That doesn't work for a lot of people. So do what works for you. Anything that makes your mind take a step back and stops that chatter, anything that keeps your body distracted physically. So it might be that so that you can just be alone with self here. So it might be that like gardening keeps you physically distracted because you're working with your hands, your feet, you're gardening, but it distracts your mind because you can do it almost on autopilot. So your mind's on that autopilot of, you knowing how to plant a plant, you knowing how to dig. It gives that space for self. And that could be for anything, exercise, cycling, anything, swimming, the bath, anything that works for you. Find what works for you to relax you enough, to allow your mind to step back enough and your body to either rest enough or be physically distracted enough to give you space here to just be with you, to get to know thyself. This actually, though it feels very submissive, and it feels like it's calling upon you to be submissive, and it feels like the last thing, mentally you think it's the last thing you want to do. You want to be active, you want to get things moving, you want to get things, all the moving parts in place now. This is actually the most warrior-like thing you can do today, because so many people are so terrified of facing self. They would rather face an angry bear than face self. They would rather face the worst physical fear than go within and look at maybe where lessons weren't learned properly, where ego's been built up, where illusion and labels have managed to take hold. So it's a real warrior energy to be able to just, I'm going to say I'm going to do it. I'm going to go within. I'm going to have that time with self. And whatever crops up, I'm going to deal with it. And I'm going to deal with it in a way that isn't reactionary. I'm just going to observe it. I'm just going to recognize what it was. I'm just going to see the lessons that I can extract from that. And I'm just going to see what weeds are left that I need to just let go of. So there's, and why is this the most warrior-like thing? Because this is the very thing, like I said before, that if we can get grounded, if we can get whole, if we can get connected with self, and therefore connected with everything, as we are anyway, it's just that many of us don't recognize it and don't have that intent towards it to keep feeding that connectedness. If you do this, if you do become whole, then the narrative, like I said before, that we're dealing with today just wouldn't come about, because it just doesn't work. The fear-mongering, the confusion, the lies, the conflicts, the misinformation, it doesn't work. Because when you have learned how to be in this energy, in its upright, and learned how to just be with self, and not be afraid of self, whatever might come up, whatever things you've done in the past, whatever guilt you have for whatever you feel you did wrong or were wrongly done by, you can face it, and you have the capacity to transmute it. Only you actually have the capacity to transmute those wounds, the guilts, those labels, that ego. And with that, you send out a pulse of energy of feeling accomplished, because you really know that you've gotten down to the nitty-gritty with self, and you've transmuted and turned those things around into lessons, into blessings to take you forward and not backwards, and not stay stuck. That energy reverberates out from you. People pick up on that. People, just like animals, they've never lost their ability to read energy. Before anything even growls or anything even barks or wags a tail, they know what that animal is approaching them with, what kind of energy, whether it's aggressive, whether it's angry, whether it's subdued, whether it's happy. They've already got that imprint, and they've already decided on how they need to act towards that imprint. Do they need to run away? Do they need to just stand firm? Or do they need to be friendly back? They just know. And a lot of us have lost that ability. But there's still this subconscious part of all of us that does pick up on energy and does recognize it. So when you're whole, when you're grounded, when you're in love with self, you walk into a room and you feel that people respect you, people want to be around you because they're attracted to that energy. It's intriguing to them, it's exciting to them, it's powerful. So even without you having to have a discussion of what you've done, what you've changed in your life, what you've implemented in your life to start meditating and start to be with self and be comfortable with self, even if you never open your mouth and say those words, your energy that is being emitted from you all the time has that impact of, it makes them curious, it makes them go away and maybe find a way to go within and transmute all of the things that we've just been discussing. So it's from this that if every individual was to take the responsibility to get back to self, to know self, to understand the connectedness to all things, to understand the individuality, yes, but to understand the fact that we are one also. When we're divided, when we're in different camps, it's easy for this kind of narrative to hook in to those fears, to that, the scaremongering and the control. So by doing this, you actually are doing something huge today to change the narrative. You're throwing your pebble in the water and those ripples will ripple out and they'll affect everybody they touch. So today you actually can do something. When you've been sitting there wondering, frustrated, what can I do to change this? This is ridiculous. How long is this going to go on for? It can only go on for as long as this narrative, this scheme, this system works on us as individuals and therefore as a collective. If we're whole, if we see through it, if we know thyself, then we can recognize what's going on the outside a heck of a lot easier too. And that narrative just dissolves. It hasn't got a space to exist anymore. Nobody's given it space and time within their mind or within their heart. Nobody's entertaining it. So when we're not putting any energy towards something, when we're not giving that intent, it doesn't exist to us anymore. It disappears. A little bit like the mainstream news. I don't watch it, I can't watch it. And when I stopped watching it, it was a bit strange for about a week. But then the relief that it just doesn't exist anymore. And yes, I hear headlines, yes, I hear things, ridiculous claims that they're making or the fear-mongering that they're doing. I hear that, I see that from others, I see that on social media. But because I haven't been given it that energy, that intent, that source of fuel from me, it doesn't come back to me, it doesn't affect me, it doesn't make me react in the same way that as somebody watching the 6 o'clock news every night to get their daily download of the day. So you see, this card, seemingly, a small card, something that you've just got to ponder upon. No, this card is asking you to be sovereign. Be brave enough to go within self. Be brave enough to transmute whatever comes up. Turn it into a lesson. Turn it into a blessing to go forward. So that is what you can do today. This card also speaks of feeling the monotony in life, feeling the boredom, which is obvious. A lot of people are bored right now and wondering how they can fill up their time with their children or just with themselves. But it's more than that. During a lot of the daily energy reads, many of you have had a lot of realizations over this time, over this collective issue that we've been forced into, that your penny doesn't fit the slot where you are, that you don't feel comfortable where you are, you don't feel whole where you are, you're with the wrong people, you're in the wrong environment, and you've recognized that because you've been locked into it more often than not, probably. So it is that uncomfortable feeling of trying to keep up with that monotony and wondering when this is going to end enough that you can actually act on anything. And that is a difficult energy. And again, the same energy calls upon you from this card. Go within. Use this time to prepare yourself for the future that you want. Use this time to really strengthen up that connectedness between your higher self, your true self, your spirit self, and your physical self. Take the time that you've got anyway, that you can't help but have, to do that, and you'll find that the future that you do want to manifest, the things that you do want to bring about, come around a lot quicker and come around a lot sooner. And in any case, it's still a bonus, because you doing that and you going within and putting your energy on that, it takes it away from the narrative. It takes that energy source away from the narrative. So you're yet another source of energy that is removing yourself. You're unplugging yourself from that narrative that is clinging on for dear life. So do this today. If you're wondering about what you can do today to change things, what you can do today to have an impact, a real impact, then do this and continue to do it and get good at doing it and enjoy doing it, because it's a continuous process. We're always learning, we're always expanding, we're always making mistakes. We're always doing well. We go through the full array of things that, we do need to take time out to look at and transmute and see what's good for us and see what's not so good for us. So it's a continuous process. So the second card is a beautiful card, and it's the Major Arcana, and it's the Sun card. And during this time that we've been in, there really has been a split between the hardships and the huge blessings. Those scales have balanced out enormously, because for every hardship there's a blessing 2, 3, 4, 5 in the same lesson that's been brought about. You look outside, this card speaks of abundance, it speaks of growth, it speaks of harvest. And you look outside and you realize that the planet, that we could live off so much better and so much more healthier and so much more holistically, and actually have real reciprocity with, not just taking and polluting, but having some respect. This planet, this world has rehealed itself in rapid time. There's huge healing that's gone on in the skies, in the waters, on the land. Things are thriving. And it's for us to seek out these blessings and look for them and put our energy and focus on those too, to help them grow, to help them expand, and help us remember the connectedness to all of that, and how that makes us feel good to know that we're connected to all of that and that it's doing well. And so then you can also look at your personal life, in that this card shines light. It enlightens you as to the path that you're on. It shows up all of the nooks and crevices, nooks and crannies that you hide things in, and you maybe haven't wanted to look at. But this shines light on it. And often dissolves the issue into a much more manageable thing, because it's not half as bad as you ever thought it was. It also speaks to abundance materialistically. Now, I feel that there is a lot of abundance materialistically. I feel a real energy of many innovators clapping their hands and hoping that this is their time, this is going to be their window, where people are catching on to, those that would control holistic medicine. There's a window opening for these people who really want to deliver full healing, real healing, non-invasive healing. And there's a real energy for that window to be pushed open that little bit more, and that enlightenment, and there's that causes some abundance, that causes the harvest, because we've all been waiting for this kind of thing. And the sun reminds us that good things are growing, good things are expanding under your feet. You might not even have seen them yet, but they're there, and they're having huge growth. It speaks of the connection to the all. It speaks of happiness and joy and bliss. It also speaks of being able to look at the past in a different light, because the Six of Cups, I needed to clarify the Sun card, and the Six of Cups came up for it, and a lot of you have done a lot of inner work during this time, which is awesome, and a lot of you have maybe fooled yourself into thinking that you'd dealt with everything, you'd transmuted everything, you'd taken every lesson that you could possibly learn. But then the sun comes along and in a very benevolent energy shines light again. It shines a different light on past events, on things that have gone by. And so it's a real mix where you'll be remembering really fond memories today, a lot of you, but also this is why this Four of Cups is here, preparing you, asking you to do the inner work, go within, because the sun shines light on those things that actually you've maybe fooled yourself into thinking that you'd gotten rid of, or that you understood, or that you had transmuted the energy of. And you can't quite believe that you're thinking about them again, or having to look back at them again. But you're looking back at them in a very different energy. It's under the light of the sun. So you're seeing more aspects to these past events. You're seeing more of what actually went down, what actually went on. And it helps you to be able to really transmute those lessons now, and really let go of what doesn't serve you now. This is, if this resonates for you today, it's a very important day. This is a whole new cycle, a whole new start. So, dancing the sun while it's there, and dancing, I find dancing very therapeutic. So, even dancing to meditate, to be able to just process whatever these cups are bringing up from the past under the light of the sun, while you're feeling good, while you've got that energy to do so, because you're being fed by that sun. I find it amazing actually that the sun popped out after Trump's talk yesterday about UV light, and the ridiculousness that's gone on social media and mainstream about that. But that's actually one of the huge things that I'm excited about. I've known about light therapy for the facials that I used to do, and will be starting to do again. The different light spectrums have a real effect on different skin conditions, and they have a long-lasting effect. It's non-invasive, it doesn't hurt, it's comfortable, it doesn't harm you in any long-term way. And so I've been excited for that for a long time, and that just shows to me that these people, these innovators, these such clever people, have been in the background waiting for their opportunity to bring things about that cause real healing, that cause real holistic healing, without it being invasive, without it being quite so painful and so expensive, which is a huge thing. So, there's a lot of things that can be taken for good that has come out of this situation, very, very definitely, and it must be. We must recognize that, because that's what gets you through. But speaking of these past lessons, take the time out to go within and do this, because the sun is here, the energy of the sun is here to help you really if we want to talk about that talk that Trump did, really kill off these things that are clinging on, that don't serve you anymore. Really get rid of them for good and start a new cycle, have your new beginning, in the place where you feel comfortable, where you feel whole, with the people that you feel comfortable and feel whole with. A lot of the daily readings leading up to today, obviously I missed a couple of days, was speaking of finding yourself in a position of feeling like a foreigner, in your own house or in your own office, because it just doesn't fit anymore. You've already emotionally detached from there. So a lot of people are going through this, and it's just a realignment, it's just enlightenment, it's just to get you back onto a path that you're meant to be on. So although it might feel difficult at the time, it is a huge blessing. It's a huge blessing to have the Sun card here to enable you today to really clear out, particularly guilt. Any guilt that you're feeling for past things that you've done, you need to let go of that. Guilt doesn't serve you, and it doesn't serve whoever you hurt. It just eats away. So let go of that guilt. Free yourself of that very, very definitely. And this Sun card, this energy of this benevolent Sun, is here to help you do so. So I feel like I've gone on, sorry, for a long time. But the third card is the Six of Swords. Now this speaks to growth. It speaks to a clear mind, having clarity. And it also speaks to moving on, taking yourself away from turbulent waters, and finding yourself in calmer, more in more harmony, less chaos, leaving the chaos behind. Now this speaks a little bit of what I was talking about before, i.e. not giving your energy to the chaos, not giving your energy to the chaos makers, to the chaos brokers, i.e. mainstream media for one, politics for another. And the list could go on, whatever it is for you that takes that energy away from you, that source of energy that it needs to continue on, to continue to be a thing even. So making that decision to go within and really face the past under the enlightenment of the Sun has served you greatly, in that by the end of today you feel like you've achieved something, you feel like you've let go of something. Now it might mean that there will be some movement, some travel from one place to another, in order for you to be in the space that you're meant to be in, that you feel welcomed in, feel appreciated in. But a lot of this is mental, being able to let go completely of anything that's been holding you back, anything that's been allowing you to not be whole, and allowing outside forces, whether it be the wider stage or outside forces, i.e. other individuals in your life, to be able to get their hook into you, to cause that chaos, to cause that reactionary state. Through doing this work, you've reached the 6, and the 6 is moving on, moving away from it, taking your thoughts, the power of your manifestation away from anything that doesn't serve you, from anything that causes chaos and loss, and putting it into something that serves you, i.e. getting to know the true power of you, the expansiveness of you, getting to know you better. And this shows that you've done that work, if this resonates with you, and you are letting go, you're shedding that chaotic lifestyle, that where there was always something wrong lifestyle. And you're not just letting go with nothing, you're moving on with lessons that won't leave you, thought patterns that won't, and behaviours that won't leave you, because they serve you, and you've recognised that. So you really have come into your own by the end of the day, if this resonates with you. To clarify this 6 of Swords, because I just felt like I needed to clarify it, is the Chariot. So it's another major arcana, and this speaks to, yes, movement, but it speaks to more of the spiritual journey movement, in that no longer are you the fool stepping off the cliff and just hoping and praying on a woman prayer that you'll be okay, or that something will land underneath your feet. No, this chariot moves with forceful intent. It moves in balance. You know, the two creatures that are pulling the chariot, the yin, the yang, the divine masculine, divine feminine, that we all have within, male or female, is in harmony, because you've done that inner work. You've looked at everything that was holding you back under the light of this sun here. And so you've attained not only maybe this physical or mental journey away from that didn't serve you, but your spiritual self can go forward so much faster, so much more forcefully, with so much more intent, that you're changing where you are right now. Through doing this inner work, you're already laying the steps for you to move forward. But remember, the chariot likes to be forceful, likes to move and get things done, and it likes to expand, and it likes to learn from experience. Remember that sometimes in that chariot you can be a bit overconfident, or you can be a bit overzealous, and you want to speed things up both in the spiritual and the physical before that divine timing. And that's just not what we need right now. We need that to be totally in balance and totally focused and totally ready to go on a path, rather than being impulsive and trying to speed it along. When we do that with the chariot card, picture these two creatures here that are pulling this dragon, i.e. the chariot. It would split it in two, because they would be going off in complete different directions. Or the one would be up here and one would be down here, completely out of balance, completely out of harmony. They're not in harmony with one another. So just be aware of that and hold on to that a little bit, and not be overconfident, and appreciate divine time, and appreciate that things are moving in the right direction. And the best thing you can do to make that happen is to do this inner work today. So I hope that helped. I honestly can't remember what I said, even though I've just finished. But it is what it is. The cards say what they say to me, and I say them to you. I never try and put my spin on them or anything like that. So tired or not, the message is there for whoever needs it. So you can book a private tarot reading with me, of course, to have a much more in-depth...
Or like a public reading, but this is a private reading.
This is a public reading, yes. So you can book me with any of the details
and like
above.
A public reading is like something where kids can be in, but a private reading is like called go on a video and a public one means it's, and the real name is called like Dilly End.
Yes. So Theodore assures you that he knows the rules and he won't be in the private reading. That's what he was saying, basically. So you can book that private reading, which is much more in depth, much more focused on you and your individual needs, what your questions are, what your needs are. Or you can book me in for an energy workout session where I just help you move that energy within you with intent, removing any blocks, allowing that energy to flow through you freely, which has a huge impact on your physical well-being also. So again, you can book me for that with any of the details above or below this video. But until then, until tomorrow, and I see you again, much love. Thank you for putting up with the tired me. Be balanced, be whole always. Mwah.
And make sure